How many times have you wasted a whole day going back and forth with somebody who doubted you or scrolling through drama that had nothing to do with you? That's energy you don't get back. And then when it's time to show up for yourself, you're drained before you even start. Protecting your energy is about knowing what deserves your effort, and most importantly, what doesn't. Not every battle is yours to fight. Not every opinion is worth responding to. And not every distraction deserves your attention. When you learn to cut off those leaks, discipline becomes easier because you're no longer trying to run on empty. This might mean setting boundaries with people who constantly question you. It might mean deleting an app that keeps pulling you into comparison or negativity. It might just mean telling yourself no when you're tempted to give in to something that doesn't serve you. And let me tell you, protecting your energy is not selfish. It's survival at best. You can't pour into your goals if you're pouring into everything else and all this other nonsense that just doesn't mean anything. And the clearer you get about what drains you, the easier it is to focus on what fuels you. Because truthfully, discipline requires energy. If you waste it on doubt, distractions, or other people's noise, you won't have enough left to build consistency in your own life. But if you guard it carefully, you'll find that you actually have more than enough to keep showing up for you. Motivation is nice, but it's not reliable. Some days you wake up feeling unstoppable, and other days you can barely drag yourself out of bed. If you're depending on motivation to carry you, you're going to stay stuck in that start-stop cycle forever. That's why discipline matters more. But hear me out. Discipline is what shows up when motivation doesn't. It's what builds consistency, creates freedom, and gets you the results you've been talking about. And that's where I want to start. Because once you really understand why discipline beats motivation every single time, the way you move through your day is going to change. This is part 2 of our 3-part series, and it's going to be juicy. Let's get into it. How many times have you been fired up about a new goal? Maybe it's working out, launching an idea, saving money, and you crush it for like a week or 2. Then the energy fades. Life gets busy, and before you know it, you've quit. It's not because you're lazy. It's because you were depending on motivation to keep you going. And motivation was never built to last. Motivation is a mood. It comes and it goes. And if you only show up when you feel like it, you'll never get consistent results. That's why discipline has to matter more. Discipline doesn't ask you how you feel. Discipline doesn't care if you're tired or uninspired or not in the mood. Discipline is the decision to show up anyway. And when you show up enough times, even without the hype, that's when you build momentum. People love to hype up talent, but talent without discipline is wasted. You can be gifted, you can be skilled, but if you don't have the discipline to put that gift to work every single day, it won't take you anywhere. On the flip side, somebody with average talent but crazy discipline, they will win every single time. They don't wait to feel ready. They move regardless. You have got to stop treating discipline like punishment. Like it's the strict routine that kills your joy. Discipline is really just keeping a promise to yourself. It's like saying, I'm going to do this thing I said I would do, even when it's inconvenient, especially when it's inconvenient. I'll tell you why this matters even more a little later when we get into how discipline actually creates freedom instead of taking it away. Most people hear the word discipline and immediately think of restriction, like it's this rigid, joyless grind where you're forcing yourself to do things you don't want to do. But that's the wrong way to look at it. Real discipline doesn't trap you. It actually gives you freedom. And here's what I mean by that. When you don't have structure, you waste so much energy just trying to figure it out. You're trying to figure out what's next. You're constantly making last-minute decisions, running behind, stressing out about things that could have been handled if you just had a system in place. That stress eats up your energy and your confidence. But when you build discipline, when you decide, this is how I'm going to show up, you take away all of that mental clutter. You don't have to argue with yourself every morning about whether you'll do the thing. The decision has already been made. That's freedom. Freedom from the back and forth. Freedom from the guilt of constantly starting over. And trust me, I am the queen of constantly starting over, so I know. Let's be real. Discipline is also what builds self-trust. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, even a small one, you're teaching your brain that I can rely on me. And that confidence starts spilling into everything else you do. Now, this doesn't mean you need some perfect color-coded schedule where every second of your life is planned out. Discipline can be more simple than that. It can be choosing to follow through on just a few key things that actually matter to you. It's less about restriction and more about removing distractions so you can focus on what moves you forward. And here's the best part. Once discipline becomes your baseline, life gets lighter. You don't waste energy stressing over what you should be doing. You're already doing it. And that clarity frees up more time and energy for the things you actually enjoy. Here's the part that trips a lot of people up. They think discipline has to look big and dramatic. Like, if you don't completely flip your routine overnight, you're not doing it right. But discipline is built in the small stuff, the little things that don't feel like much in the moment, but add up in a big way over time. Think about it. Brushing your teeth doesn't feel like a big accomplishment, right? But doing it every day protects you years down the line. That's what discipline is. It's the tiny, repeated actions that seem ordinary until you realize they've changed everything. Most people quit because small feels too small. We crave the dramatic transformation, the overnight success story. But discipline doesn't work that way. It works like stacking bricks. You lay one down and then another, and eventually you've built something solid enough to stand on. The strategy here is simple. Pick one thing, just one. Something you can stick to even on your worst days. When that becomes automatic, add another, and then another. That's how you create consistency without overwhelming yourself. That plane is so loud, it's a little ridiculous. So instead of trying to force 10 new habits at once, scale back a little bit. Get consistent with one. Then stack from there. That's where the real discipline lives. Here's something people don't talk about enough, in my opinion. Discipline isn't just about what you do, it's also about what you don't give your energy to. Because energy is limited. And if you spend it all on the wrong things or the wrong people, you won't have anything left for the stuff that actually matters to you. How many times have you wasted a whole day going back and forth with somebody who doubted you, or scrolling through drama that had nothing to do with you? That's energy you don't get back. And then when it's time to show up for yourself, you're drained before you even start. Protecting your energy is about knowing what deserves your effort, and most importantly, what doesn't. Not every battle is yours to fight. Not every opinion is worth responding to. And not every distraction deserves your attention. When you learn to cut off those leaks, discipline becomes easier because you're no longer trying to run on empty. This might mean setting boundaries with people who constantly question you. It might mean deleting an app that keeps pulling you into comparison or negativity. It might just mean telling yourself no when you're tempted to give in to something that doesn't serve you. And let me tell you, protecting your energy is not selfish. It's survival at best. You can't pour into your goals if you're pouring into everything else and all this other nonsense that just doesn't mean anything. And the clearer you get about what drains you, the easier it is to focus on what fuels you. Because truthfully, discipline requires energy. If you waste it on doubt, distractions, or other people's noise, you won't have enough left to build consistency in your own life. But if you guard it carefully, you'll find that you actually have more than enough to keep showing up for you. In just a minute, we're going to talk about something powerful that happens once you do this, how your results start to shift the way people see you. And by then, you won't even need their validation. When you start building discipline and your results start showing, people will notice. And some will cheer you on, while some may question you. And some won't know how to deal with the new version of you. And that's okay. Because by the time your results start speaking for themselves, you won't need their approval anymore anyway. Discipline changes you first, but success changes the way people respond to you. The same folks who once doubted you might suddenly start asking you for your advice. The same people who said you were doing too much may be the first ones to say, "I always knew you could do it." That shift can feel strange, but it's proof of what consistency creates. But here's the important part. You can't build your life on who claps or who doesn't. Because if you do, you'll still be chasing the same external validation that we talked about in the last video. Success should never be about convincing people who didn't believe in you. It should be about becoming someone you believe in. And honestly, not every relationship is meant to go with you once you start growing anyway. Some people will respect your discipline, and others may be, threatened by it. You'll know who your people are by how they react when you win. And although that's not your burden to carry, it's just a part of the process, and it's worth mentioning. Your job is to keep showing up. Keep proving to yourself that you can stay consistent. The relationships that are meant for you will adjust, and the ones that aren't will fade. But either way, you'll still be standing because your foundation isn't their opinion, it's your discipline. Now, stick with me until the end because I've got some advice to share on how to carry this forward so you don't fall back into that start-stop cycle once this video ends. Don't let this be another video you nod your head to and then forget about. That's the start-stop cycle, and that's what keeps you stuck. The way you break out of it is by picking one thing, just one, and following through on it starting today. Don't wait for motivation to hit. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Use discipline to carry you through the days when the hype isn't there. That's how you build consistency. And that's how you start proving to yourself that you can be trusted to show up. And when you feel yourself slipping, and you will, don't beat yourself up. Catch it, reset, and get back to the one small action you committed to. That's what keeps the cycle from repeating. So don't let this end when the video ends. Keep it moving. A video just popped up on your screen. This is the one I want you to watch next. Press play on it and I'll meet you there so we can keep building on this.